serving your town and all of northern Michigan. This is 7 and 4 News at 6.
There's still a lot of standing timber and smoldering embers.
After destroying about 7,500 acres in Crawford and Roscommon counties, we have just learned the Meridian Boundary Fire is now 65% contained. Good evening, I'm Diana Fairbanks.
And I'm Mark Gillette. Dramatic developments just in the last 15-20 minutes on this fire. Take a look at this map. It actually shows where the fire started and where it has spread to. It started in an area just east of M18 and blew west into the Huron National Forest. We're told the fire is about 6.5 miles long.
7 and 4 News has several crews covering this massive wildfire. Our Andrew Keller, Brody O'Connell, and Lauren Amstead spread out across the region today to speak with fire crews, Red Cross officials, and those who were evacuated. Joining us now live with the very latest on the spread and the path of destruction of this fire is 7 and 4's Andrew Keller. He's at the command center at the corner of M18 and M72, right where that fire began.
Diana, you hit it right on the nose. The most recent information that we have is 65% of this fire is contained. 95% of it has a fire line around it, so that percentage dropped. Today, I just got done talking with Carol Nilsson, the fire managing officer who passes along the information. She told me that there were a lot of flare-ups today, and with the weather we have today, 75 degrees, sunny, beautiful day out. It's going to cause that same concern tomorrow. Here's a wrap-up of what ensued today. A cold and calm Tuesday night, temperatures in the 30s, and a non-existent threat of wind allowed fire crews to work around the 7,500-acre fire and establish a fire line or a wide area of moist soil to help keep the fire from spreading. There's a fire line around the perimeter, and 20% of it is contained.
That is an effective tool in helping to suppress the fire. What we see on the ground currently, there's still a lot of standing timber and smoldering embers. So official term, containment in the firefighting sense will come a significant time down the road.
Scott says that could be anywhere from days to weeks until a fire is officially contained. DNRE reports show the fire spreads from Meridian Road in the east to Pioneer Road in the south, Staley Lake Road in the west, and 2.5 miles from M72 in the north. The fire burn path resembles a hand.
We're concentrating on the south line a little more today because we have a north wind. We want to keep this protected so it doesn't jump that southern line.
Jean Orski and her husband know that potential. Their home is 3/4 of a mile from where the fire crossed M18.
The flames were at least 100 foot high.
At least.
Just roaring.
The couple that's been married for 63 years say they packed their bags and weren't taking any chances.
As long as we've got each other and our dog, we're happy. Yeah.
From 2,500 feet up in the air, you can see how widespread this fire is. We chartered a plane Wednesday morning to get a bird's eye view. The fire spreads over 6.5 miles long and is over 1 mile wide. Wednesday afternoon, the winds began to pick up, which is a concern.
The potential is certainly there. As I said, there's still a lot of unburned standing trees that are within the area. There's still plenty of smoldering, smoking areas. So, with just a little bit of wind, it could potentially push the fire up to be large.
Conservation officers have been escorting people who need medication to their homes if the area is deemed safe. There are no reported injuries at this time, and firefighters can only hope the weather now plays its role. Now, what we're showing you right now is the command center of the Meridian Boundary Fire. They have 16 roads shut down within the fire boundaries so far. The fire crews, they're working on top of it. They're going to make sure to keep everyone out of here that presents a damage or that could present harm. Again, Andrew Keller here in Crawford County, live for 7 and 4 News.
All right, thanks a lot, Andrew. We've been updating you for the last 24 hours on just how many acres have been destroyed. But, it can be really tough to put those numbers into some kind of perspective. So to help you get a better understanding of just how big 7,500 acres is, well, I put together some comparisons for you. Let's take a look. 7,500 acres is roughly about 12 square miles. Now, for some perspective, Mackinac Island is roughly 3.8 square miles. So this Meridian Boundary Fire has burnt the equivalent of more than 3 Mackinac Islands. How about this? The blaze has scorched more than 12 times the size of the Elk Rapids village limits. Now, if you're not familiar with Elk Rapids, chances are you can picture a football field. Now, a standard football field covers about 1.1 acres. So we're looking at about 7,500 football fields stacked next to each other, burnt in this blaze. All right, here's another perspective. If you stack those 7,500 football fields end to end, one after another, they would actually stretch out to be about 42 miles long. That's just a little bit less than the crow flies in the distance from Gaylord all the way up to the Mackinac Bridge. Diana, back to you.
Thanks, Mark. Now, this wildfire has not only destroyed multiple homes, thousands of acres, it's forced hundreds of people out of their homes. Many of those people are in need of food, water, and a place to stay. 7 on 4's Brody O'Connell spent the day with the Red Cross delivering supplies to evacuees and fire crews. He's now back in our studios. Brody, what was it like out there today?
Well, you know what, Diana, you could really tell that there was a sense of urgency, volunteers working hard to get supplies to where they need to be. And on a hot day like today, it was crucial to get food and water to the 150-some firefighters fighting on the front line. Volunteers are working hard, trying to keep firefighters cool and hydrated.
Water is the most important part of the day. Without the water, you become tired, nauseated, dizzy, and you could end up with a heat stroke.
At checkpoints, blocks of ice are being used to chill hundreds of bottles of water. Red Cross officials say their volunteers are busy, making sure that the drinks and food make their way to firefighters battling on the front line.
We're delivering food stuff to the people in the field, so they have something to eat and drink, keep them hydrated.
And the Red Cross is not working alone. Local businesses have chipped in, supplying volunteers with the goods they need.
Burger King gave us 150 burgers today, and the 7-Eleven in town there gave us pop, potato chips, ice, and 2 upright coolers to store the pops in and cool things down.
It's a community effort, people joining together to help Crawford County through a state of emergency.
110%. As far as the community, you know, they're super people.
With the help rolling in, Red Cross officials say they have already provided more than 600 meals and countless bottles of water, and they plan to provide help to the area even after the final flames are extinguished. Red Cross officials say they have had more than 50 volunteers working around the clock, and with help from the community, they have provided more than 600 meals to firefighters and evacuees. Brody O'Connell, 7 on 4 News.
Thanks, Brody. Many of those who are evacuated are waiting to see if their homes made it through the fire. At last report, we were told that the fire destroyed 12 homes and damaged 2 others. But remember, there is still a lot of damage to assess.
7 on 4's Lauren Amstead spoke to evacuees at the Resurrection Life Center to find out when they may be able to go home. She continues our wildfire live team coverage from the command center. Lauren.
Right. Well, the DNRE has just told us that the evacuation order is still in effect for the approximately 300 residents that were evacuated yesterday. And I've received several text messages, phone calls, talked to many residents, and they all ask the same question: when can we go back? Well, authorities tell me at the very earliest, it would be tomorrow morning. And that's at the very earliest, and that would mean that ground conditions wouldn't change. So must make arrangements for at least one more night. But if you need something, desperately need something like medication, you do have options.
They come to this intersection, we're at 72 and 18, and talk to a conservation officer or a Michigan State police officer. They can be escorted to their residence to get whatever they need.
Only one person stayed at the Resurrection Life Center on M72 in Crawford County, but Red Cross still has cots, drinks, and food available if you need a place. And about 20 people stayed at the St. Helen Elementary School. Red Cross is also still there helping out, and of course you can go to Richfield Township Hall if you need anything. And an update to a story that I first brought you yesterday. I followed around a nursing home of about 100 residents from Hilltop Manor, and they were at Richfield Township Hall. Well, they are now been placed in hospitals and other nursing homes in the area. So they are comfortable and they have been rerouted. So of course we will continue to follow this story. For now, reporting live in Crawford County, Lauren Amstead, 7 on 4 News.
Thank you, Lauren. Let's recap tonight's top story for you. Of course, it's the Meridian Boundary Fire. Here's what we know.
The DNRE says the fire has burned about 7,500 acres in both Crawford and Roscommon counties. Now, this new information, the fire is about 65% contained. A local state of emergency has been declared in Crawford County. The DNRE is now saying the fire was caused by someone burning debris and Crawford County did issue burn permits yesterday.
7 and 4 News will continue to follow this developing story. We also want to remind you we'll be constantly updating our website, upnorthlive.com, with the very latest information as soon as we get it.
As for the fire in Kalkaska County within Camp Grayling, we're told that about 1,200 acres were burned in that blaze. Almost all of it was on Camp Grayling property. A small portion did spread to private property. 24 people were evacuated and as many as 4 homes were destroyed there. Fire crews had a total control of this fire about 8 o'clock last night. Officials say it started as a controlled burn that simply got out of control. Well, for the very latest story, sports, and weather anytime, log on to our website, upnorthlive.com.
The Traverse City Opera House. It's a symbol of the city's rich history since 1891. But some that work there say unexplainable sightings have happened. Our news team continues our haunted series as we investigate the reports.
And a few showers popping up just south of that fire this evening. And we actually have some more rain in the forecast heading towards the beginning of the weekend. And it looks pretty warm. All the details in 2 minutes.